Welcome, welcome back to this another live session, traders. We are progressing towards the NY session for second session of the day. Hope that you guys ready for a potentially big trading day, and hope that the stream is well going on. Can you hear? And all the sounds and everything is picking up. Thank you. Welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome. Yes, let's wait for a potential best setup as the market really, if you look at the daily price, the price initially with the Asian session has bounced back to the upside and then rejected back below. So the market structure here is currently bearish on the all-time frame and 4-hour candle close with a big long wick doji, and as a result the market has initially broken back below here, and now we are looking at this is the 1-hour market structure where the market is currently showing bearish price action. 30 minutes price action also showing that potentially to be downside here, and I'm looking at the 1-minute price action. Here is a triangular pattern, and that is where the market structure is showing potentially to break below in this direction here, and therefore any trade coming along the way, we are looking at selling opportunity here in that market. We had I'm looking at a couple of entries. If as soon as we see the market has shown proper entry opportunity, and this is what we are looking at this market. Welcome. All right, so you can see that on this lower time frame here, the market started to break from this resistance line, and as the market trend, if you look at here, there is a breakout structure. This is the 1-minute local breakout that you can see, which is a clean manipulation here, and from that manipulation that you can see that's where you can see the market is showing up to be downside here in that area, and if you look at the market structure from this high here, the price action showing up to be potentially downside. Okay, so here is what you can see. There is a series of lower high here in that area, and if you guys look at this liquidity graph, and what you can see here in this zone, this is where there is a liquidity graph. If you look at here, and in that liquidity graph, the market could potentially make that move back below. This is what we are looking at here in that area, the price to potentially drop down. If you look at this 1 hour price action here, it's a bearish engulfer, and with this bearish engulfer, the market could potentially drop down here in that area. So we are looking at, if you look at the lower time frame here, this is what we are looking at, the market to potentially break below in that area. So let's see how we can look at possible entry. As if you look at the overall trend, I'm looking at daily again to see that where the market was heading in that area. And because the market trend is bearish, if you look at the longer term picture here is bearish, and looking at the weekly market structure, that you can see initially the price has bounced back here and then rejected back again below in that area. So if you look at the monthly, also you can see there is a bearish price action. Looking at daily chart, that you can see the market in this area from the daily perspective, this is where the market may potentially drop down here in that area. So looking at the intraday perspective, now looking at the 4-hour chart, guys, you can see that there was a significant here in that market. This is where there is a long wick doji in that area, and with that long wick doji, the market could potentially drop down here to create a new lower low in that area. So this is what you can see, the 1 hour bearish engulfer here in that area. So from that perspective, if we look at the lower time frame, what we are looking at here, that the market to show up a possible breakup structure. We are looking at the breakup structure. If you guys looking at here, that we are looking at breakup structure. Okay, that's what we are looking at. Okay, so if you look at this triangular pattern that you can see on the lower time frame has formed, which has broken back below, and as the triangular pattern has broken back below from this level, that you guys can see that expecting the market now to grab bigger liquidity for potentially break that low here. And looking at the 1 hour price action, and we are almost halfway of this 1 hour candle. If you look at that longer term trend here is bearish, so we are looking at currently bearish setup here. Do you have any different opinion? What I think, that if you look at the 1 hour candle close here, which is a bearish engulfer, right? And that bearish engulfer has crossed this high and the low and completely closed back below as a bearish engulfer. Now, today's low that you can see, this is the daily low here, where the market may eventually could break that low here, and any break above this level. All right, so this is what we are looking at. Any break above is where looking at potential entry opportunity in this market. Okay, are you guys ready for potential setup here? I'm looking at, so when you looking gold ahead today, so this is what we are looking at the moment, that where you can find our next opportunity in that market. So let's look at to see. All right, so if you look at the daily market structure, guys, the earlier opening on the daily was, this is the daily high. Okay, now the market has tested the both sides of this daily price action, and the overall trend, if you look at the on Friday, what we have seen, a big bear candle, right? So which is pretty big, that I would say that it's more than nearly to 1.5 ATR to 2 ATR candlestick pattern. But looking at gold today, yeah, this is what we are looking at. Now, today's market, if you look at, since the price opened here, 4106 level, it reached that high. And then after reaching that high, the market has broken back below here. So as the market is breaking back below in that area, so which is an important support level here at the moment, and the price is now at the daily open and close. So this is another important level. 3, you can see the very interesting, exactly at the middle the market is, right? So therefore, which way we can expect this market to rise up back again to 4106 or dropping down to 4050 level. Where you are at, guys? Let me know in the live chat. What's your view on that? So this is what we are looking at this point. Has been one. Now, because the market has dropped back below earlier on the daily, that you can see, now the price is approaching that daily high. And with that break above to this daily high, where the price is approaching that resistance line, it will flip and be bullish. Okay, so you feel like it's gonna be flip and bullish. This is a weak fill that you can see, but look, the market may do in any direction. So you won't be able to exactly tell which way the market might be doing in 100% of the time. But what we could see, because there has been significant breakdown here, and if you look at this move, you can see it's a full bearish move, a strong drop down right now. Looking at the price action here, so this zone here, that if you look at, we are looking at the 4-hour chart, because the sessions candlestick pattern will give you a much better understanding of what the market might do. Now, what this doji represents earlier with the Asian Open that you have seen, the market has gone up, right? Crossed this high and then closed as a long wick doji. That means there is a selling pressure here, right? With this candle, that candlestick pattern shows that there has been significant selling pressure in that market, followed by the previous session. We see that there is another long wick doji also showing that potential selling pressure. So back to back 2 sessions, and also this red candle, if you look at, also representing stronger selling pressure with this bearish price action. So to reverse from this level to be bullish back to the upside, if you look at, it requires stronger liquidity gap, and therefore lower time frame still we could see potentially there is a breakout that you can see potentially the market, unless we see a very stronger news coming, there is a possibility for downside here. Let's look at, so there is a just tomorrow there is a CAD news, and interest rate cut decision will be a big one that might change again the market structure, because when there is an interest rate cut, that will basically boost the DXY. All right, so if you look at the DXY currently from this daily doji, so far showing upside here on DXY. So if DXY getting upside, that means becoming bullish, then that could bring that opposite effect on gold. That is where you are seeing that gold is showing to be downside. So now today's threshold on gold, this I was looking at DXY. So DXY is so far showing upside, and that is reflecting on gold as mirror. Okay, so because it's against the dollar, gold now there's an unusual breakout here on the lower time frame that you can see on gold, and that breakout, if you look at here, looking at, if you look at here, you can see this is a lower time frame price action here, and from the 1 hour and the lower time frame, the market structure is maintaining a potentially downtrending market structure here in that area. So therefore, from this level, expecting the market to potentially, here locally we see there is a breakout, and that might bring the price again back up to this daily high. So we might find from any of these extreme point, that means from the high or from the low, is where we are looking at this market to trade on. And in the meantime, traders, if you're enjoying the live session, make sure you like this stream and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so you're not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day. Thank you. Okay, so here is from this support level, if you look at a breaking to the upside here, and that is giving this price action potentially a momentum here, and breaking up is what could give potential for bearish move here again. One single move back to the upside, especially this one single candle going back to hit the daily high at this level, is an overextension back to the upside, can bring potentially selling pressure in the market. Above this level, there is a high liquidity, and this is what we're looking at the market structure to give a possible downtrending move. Welcome. So one single move back to the upside here to this order block, which is this level. Okay, might bring an opportunity to sell here. And especially breaking that high completely with one single breakout. We see that move back above here to this liquidity zone. We'll be able to see that the market to break below here, and finding a trade from a key level is very important to see where the market might be heading here. Okay, looking at a key level, looking at a zone where there is a high probability trade setup, and that's what we are looking at, guys. A level that can give high probability entry, so that if you enter from a key level after rejection, that's where we can hold a trade for bigger profit. At the moment, you see from this support, this is the 1 minute chart, there is an initial bounce. Now this, first of all, you need to look if there is any news has contributed to that, because sometimes news might make this kind of move suddenly. Instead of going down due to some unusual news, the market might react to that level. But if that's what the market is doing, then, because more often the news move that you can see could be just liquidity grab and then will revert back again in the major direction of the flow, because the major trend here currently in this level is bearish. So if you look at, there was a break with the market open with this green candle, drop down, another bounce, drop down. So whenever the market is going up, there is a rejection. That means sellers coming in that market. So current level is that we are looking at this market structure for the price to retest and then return again in that area. So series of lower high that you can see, and with the series of lower high, this is where 30 minutes, one bounce back to the upside. And here is again series of higher low as well. So the market might try to break this high. but eventually you could see the market to reject again back below here. All right, so I hope that the volume is okay, guys. Music volume is too loud. Welcome, thank you. So if you look at here, there is a breakout and it's now forming a potential head and shoulder. If it creates that head and shoulder and break down from that head and shoulder, start a new downtrend, we can look to sell this market along the way to break that low. Still there is an impulse to the upside, so there is still a probability for another bounce back to the upside here. It's going to depend here how the market is going to create the structure in this area. Okay, so again, looking at the 1 hour to see that if this market respecting this high here and then returning back below in the direction of the trend. So there is a bounce back that you can see in this market. So looking at again the 1 minute, you can see it's now potentially trying to create a new higher high. So with this another bounce, if the market go ahead retest this daily high, that's the daily high, there's a breakout here with a one single move back to the upside and waiting for the market to trend back down and then to reject back again in the major direction of the trend. Breakout and So from this support approaching the high, now maintaining this uptrend, the previous 1 hour price action is a bearish engulfer. The most likely we'll see the price to cross 4089 as it is trending back to the upside. And if this move straight bouncing back above here, that is where we might find selling opportunity. If the breakup structure that you can see, so looking at here, this is the lower time frame price action maintaining a bullish market structure. And with this bull market, here is the market breaking that high, potentially cross this liquidity zone here in that area. And if the price managed to break above, this is a resistance. And also you can see there is a resistance, expecting that the market to break that low here in that area. And still maintaining here an uptrend, and we might see further bounce back to this high here. Waiting on a bounce. It is fine, the volume. The volume is, yeah, okay. Thank you. Now, the market volume and the volume in music. Thank you very much for both of them. It's having the same wording. But what do you think that if you look at the daily market here, okay, so looking at this daily price action, today's market didn't move much. You can see that it just created an equal candlestick move on both direction, right? Look at the daily chart here, 4106, here is 4050. Now that move, what we can see on the daily is crucial to look at, because today's market, I wouldn't expect the market to create a big bull candle here. Why? Because the market didn't move at the beginning for a big move to the upside. Therefore, this daily price action is less likely to be today's market to go ahead and create a big bull candle. Instead, it might form even high and low and remaining in that zone. Rather, we could see downward move, okay, breaking that low further. But if we see that the daily close like this, that means if the market cannot break this previous daily low, instead we are seeing a bullish or narrow doji closed on the daily without much bigger movement, there's a very high chance for tomorrow, boom, the market bounce back to the upside. On the other hand, if we see today stronger breakdown here, then there is possibility for further bearish. So this slowdown in the market on bearish move is a sign of long-term bullish move. So therefore, lower time frame, whenever we can find an opportunity, we need to look at to see that, because it's at the top, when coming back below here to test this daily low. I hope that you guys getting my point here. Because the market is still on the daily bearish, so the bias still could remain downside here on the daily. So if the daily market is down, then any lower time frame going up is a possibility for us to open sell here. So looking at the 5 minutes, a huge bearish candlestick pattern, and with this green candle, immediate rejection back below. So looking at 15 minutes, if you look at, it's a long bearish pin bar. So there is a bearish rejection here that you can see. It's a big bear candle with a pretty long rejection from this high, and that is making the market structure potentially to remain bearish. And big head and shoulder. So we see that an hourly candle closed with a big bearish price action here in that area. And the question is, the market is breaking above again as it is maintaining that series of lower high. Are you going to see a bearish move here? With this long week candle risk pattern, waiting for the market to potentially come back down below here to support, to test that support. So the price action so far I'm looking at on the daily is still pushing potentially back below down. And this is a currently on a sideway that you can see narrow consolidation. Now with this narrow consolidation, the market here, we might see again appreciation back above here, and the bias, if we look at the lower time frame, this is the market structure. Maintaining a series of lower high. Very long candlestick pattern, expecting it to break that low. So this is a sideway market that you can see here. And that sideway market, very narrow one candle range. Now when you see that the market is moving in one candle range, what we need to look at here, that the price to give us a possible rejection from that level. So if you look at this lower time frame here, see it's moving in a one candle range. So from the resistance or from the support, the market needs to reject. And until the market prepare for one directional move, we are looking at in that area. Waiting the market to break that high and then to return back again below. Okay. Currently on a range, and welcome. Let me start a poll to see today's what's your bias on gold. So do you think the market will break that high and then continue to rise? Welcome. And bearish. You see that all the time, most of the time, interestingly, what the pool results came out, the market did that almost 95% of the time. So cast a vote and we'll see the results, that what majority of the thinking, and that really you'll see that most of the time it come out. So by casting a vote, let us know what's your bias on gold today. Bearish or bullish? I see 50-50 so far. Just few votes. You can share your idea. And All right, so far bearish, more people. Let's see, can you cast a board and to see that which way you think gold is going to do. And here looking at again on the lower time frame, it's on a narrower range here, and with this narrow range with a series of lower high, there's a significant, this is a doji on the 15 minutes closed. So here the market slowly breaking that low, and we might see a possible support level break. Welcome. A break of support again showing up that the market potentially to trend back down here, and welcome. Okay, the market structure looks like that potentially to be bearish. Current level that you are looking at to break this high and then to so if you look at the market slowly breaking low here, therefore going back up is, if you look at the break of this high, we may see possibly downtrend. This is a pure fair value gap. This is a big fair value gap here, so we'll be trading that fair value gap with a pending order and keeping stop loss nearly to 55 pip. We'll be placing sell stop order in this market here for trading this FVG. We see there is a potential drop down and we would like to take it to this order block. It's going to be a sell stop. So sell stop placing at 4074. Stop loss at 4079.23. TP target at 4066.84. So place the sell stop here. So here also the previous trade that just been triggered. This is another trade. This is, or pending on is on. I had another trade get triggered. from the past. Let them running. So place that sell stop, and this is not this one. This is the running trade is my previous trade, the older trade that has been triggered. But currently we place sell stop at 4074.18, stop loss at 4079.23, and TP target at 4066.84. If the market breaks below, we'll be on the trade. So I might have 2 trades running on for this move, expecting to break below here, as there's a downtrend and want to see the market breaking that low here. Awesome. The other trade is just an automated trade that has been triggered. So we are running 2 trades. So this one is still not got triggered here. Waiting for the market to break that low here, and then to drop down again back below to create a new low. Expecting that to drop to that order block. Are you guys with me? Say yes. I have placed the pending order at 4074.18, stop loss at 4079.23, TP target 4066.84. If the market breaks below, expecting the market to trend back down, a straight drop back to this support level to give us potentially full TP hit on this move here. Welcome. And you guys see that the pool is really playing out potential. Cast a board and I will show you the results here. The pool is really important. And in the meantime, if you are excited about this live session and trading with me, learning with me every single day, enjoying the live session, make sure you like this stream. Did you like? And also don't forget to subscribe. There's a lot of content that will change the way you look at the market. And expecting the market to drop down here back below to create this is a fair value gap. If you look at, that's a bigger fair value gap. So if the market managed to break that low, expecting it to drop down to fill that fair value gap and then to drop back to this order block. The market might do that, might not do. Let's see that how the price action is trying to create the structure in that area here. And there's significant bearish rejection, and there is a possibility for drop. We're looking to see how the market structure is creating the momentum here, as longer term trend here is bearish here. So if the market breaks this low here, penetrating back below, that could bring the market to drop down here, as the fair value gap here that you can see is pretty big. And if the market managed to break the support, expecting it to come back down to fill that zone. Interesting move. There's a doji, and if you look at here, possibly creating a W, might be going to fill that zone. Or is the market structure showing up here? And It's dropped a lot. And then very interesting price action that you can see. There is a long red doji back to back 2, and all right, so that move could bring the market down. This is a pin bar on the lower time frame. Sometimes the market creates this kind of structure that become difficult to predict, but that more often sign a bigger move in one direction. Okay, downward pressure back here. It's gonna be very awful if it keep ranging, rather it's keep breaking below here, and we want to see that breaking that low, and we got triggered here. So here's the market is might break that high. So the pending order has not got triggered, and it's gonna be really interesting to see which way the market is breaking. So the 15 minutes price action that you can see is this is back to back 2 dojis here, and so you see there is another 5 minutes narrower doji being formed here, and that 5 minutes doji, they're expecting that the market to close as a narrower candle and then to fill that long wick at the bottom here. The last few seconds are important to see how the market structure is creating. And okay, the possibility to bounce back up is higher, but still sometimes the market creates this kind of structure, very narrow, very dodgy and sideways, is just to gather more liquidity for a bigger move. Now the imbalance here is to the upside. It might go ahead, fill that imbalance, grab liquidity and could return back again. Here there's a doji on back to narrower 15 minutes price action that you can see has formed, and as I mentioned, that's what happened. Strong breakout. And okay, so it has broken to the upside. I'm out with the trade. So here, if the market breaks below, now this is what happened. The market has crossed that high, so it may eventually come back below. If you look at the 1 hour, it has crossed that high, so pending order is still on there. If the market breaks below here, we will be on the trade. So with this inverted head and shoulder, if you look at it, has managed to break to the upside, and that is where 4085 level is being crossed. And for us to look for sell, pending order is still below here. If the market breaks below, we will be on the trade. The market might range here in a very narrow range, and you look at it, why do you see buyers 24110? Look, the buyers here, if you look at this market on the daily, it just has crossed the daily high. So there is less likely that this market today to be aggressively bullish. We might see the range and then coming down here. But if the market remains like that in a sideways, coming big day tomorrow for bounce back up potentially. So therefore, breaking this high is bringing us potential selling opportunity. Now, this back-to-back few dojis has given the market imbalance in that area. Most likely you'll see this trend line to be broken if it potentially reverse. Didn't break the low, and therefore we are looking at breaking that high, and then if the price manage to come back below here, we are on potential sell. Delete those lines here. We had a pending order on. Now this is the 4-hour price action. There's a new fresh market structure that you can look at here if you look at, and that's the 4-hour price action from this support. It's a stronger liquidity trigger here that you can see, which is bullish so far. And from the trend line, so breaking above here is potential opportunity for sell. Now that's a complete breakout that you can see from here. pending order has not got triggered yet in this area. And so what we can see after this breakout, the market is trying to continue to rise back here, potentially to create a new higher high. And as the level that you can see, so if you got the pending order on, this is still on here, mine at 4074.18, stop loss at 4079.23, TP target at 4066.84. These are my old trades that was running. The one that we placed the pending order is at 4074.18, stop loss at 4079.23, TP target 4066. Now if the market breaks that low in that direction, so if you look at this bounce, and if it is breaking below, that means there is a possibility for drop down here, and we can see there is a potential rejection. Now the breakout, this is a neckline of this inverted head and shoulder. The market is still can continue to rise. If it is a valid breakout, then from this previous, if you look at this previous resistance that has broken in that area, the resistance turns support. Okay, so if you look at this is the resistance here, resistance here, resistance here, which is turning support here, and that might bring that market to back up if it is a valid breakout. If it is a false breakout, that means this structure is a false breakout, we might see that straight coming down here, and which is also very possible to happen. As if you look at that, this is if you look at the long term from the daily, it's above the daily high, and the market still can come back to retest the daily low here. So which one is likely to play out? So the resistance turns support. Or do you see that this market to show up? And we are looking at so there was an inverted head and shoulder. If we look at here and breakout sideways, market has bounced back up here. So it's, if you look at lower time frame here, there's a bearish price action giving a possibility for downside. So you can look for sell. Potentially it is a false breakout, and that could bring the market back below. So the 5 minutes price action on the lower time frame, we can see that this is where a bearish engulfer has formed, and with this bearish engulfer, the market has shown potentially downside momentum here in that market. And that bearish price action that you can see on the lower time frame from the you can see there is a long week candlestick pattern. We might see that this market to potentially reject back again below in this market. And so our pending order is still there if you look at, and okay, so we see there is a rejection. Are you guys with me? So this pending order here is, we might get a trigger. So the price at 4074.18, stop loss at 4079.23, and TP target 4066.84. As the market grab liquidity, as we discussed, that this might be a false breakout. So that means with that breakdown, if the market break this support and continue to, we might see that filling that fair value gap and potentially coming down well below here. I'm looking at that drop down. Once you see the market manage to drop back below here to this support level, that's a complete rejection. Can you say yes if you place the pending order with me? And of course, with risk management, the market still can go up and take us out of the trade because very tight stop loss. Okay, so all right, so I see one member said yes. Anyone else? So if once it breaks below here, will be on the trade. We want to take it down back below here to this support level. So it got triggered, and I'm waiting on that potential rejection back below. For this is the 1 minute candle also closed. Now if the market breaks low, that means breaks the support that we might see. This is a here pure fair value gap, and the market continues to drop back below, looking at that potential fair value gap to be retested. And Are you going to see the wick fill? Okay, so approaching again another support. It's very interesting. I think that's a very interesting price action being formed. And all right, so 1 minute, there is a bearish pin bar, and this market, if it continues to trend back below, that's might bring the price back here to this order block. Both directional bias is possible here in that market, and so 1 hour candle potentially closing back here. It is closing as a doji. I'm waiting for this market to see breaking that low. If that's where the market, if you look at this, another liquidity gap here, back to back two candlestick pattern. If both of them forming like that, that is a bearish price action, and expecting to fill that imbalance here. There is a fair value gap, and if the market reject back below, we will be on the trade here on this drop, and when I take that move back below here. You guys with me? So the pending order is below here, waiting for possible drop down, and a very volatile price action at the moment. The buyers and sellers are really having a stronger battle here for possible bounce back or downside. 1 hour price action closed with a big doji here, and that may, I think that might again push the price back. It's interesting. That is interesting. So okay, so that's complete break above here. The market didn't break that low, and so you see from this support level, it didn't break that support, and there has not been any drop down. So the 4 hour price action here that we are looking at, in that area, that the market to, so you see that 4 hour that the market didn't break that support, and daily price, if we look at, it's a narrow range, so the market might remain in this narrow range for the day. And if the price break that high here, we will be looking at the low in that area. Now sometimes the market ranges, guys, and you can't force a trade in that situation, so you need to wait for that market to, so we are waiting for pending order to trigger. So it didn't trigger, we'll be closing the pending order here. Okay, I've closed the pending order. It didn't break that low, so the pending order is closed. The market is sideways, that you can see narrow range, and the market move in a narrow range. We will be waiting for a breakout from that narrow range, and then once it shows clear pattern that you can look into that entry. And in the meantime, guys, I hope that you're enjoying the live session. Make sure you like this stream and also subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done yet, press the notification bell so you're not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day. And the market in a narrow range, let it settle, and then we will be looking at entry. Here, the market might try to break that trend line. It might go ahead and hit that resistance line here that you can see in that area. And with that resistance, the market may try to go ahead and hit that level, could drop back down again below in that support level. And in the meantime, we are looking at patiently for change of market structure. I hope that you guys enjoying the live session. Make sure you like this stream. What's your thought now? Which way the market is heading at the moment? If you look at in that area, so you can see it has got a rejection, and that rejection might lead that price potentially to go back up, or we could see that bounce back below. Now, looking at the lower time frame, if you look at again the 1 minute with a double bottom breakout. So there was a fair value gap here. Didn't, because this is a very stronger bullish impulse, and most likely because had a very stronger momentum, there is a stronger buyer here, so that didn't let that market to drop down below because of the strong buying pressure. And it could happen that as the market now tested that upper shadow for the market to again, because it triggers a very good amount of liquidity now at the moment. And that's the trend line here. For the 1 minute, that is a big bear move here. Pending order is closed, so even the market drop, we will not be on the trade. We need to look for the new setup. That's a big rejection again. 5 minutes big bear candle. Now this is what I wouldn't consider it as a stronger bearish move, because there is already the 4-hour candle has tested the upper shadow. And here is the price tested this previous resistance and support, and sometime when, especially if you see the market is on a sideways, this is a consolidation after this big trend, you might see that the market is not following any clear structure and instead randomly moving in one direction, breaking a structure, breaking a support or resistance, and then returning back again and going the other direction like that. So the market is moving in that way more often. You'll see that. And if you look at, you see the price has broken that resistance, rejected back again, and you won't be able to trade the bigger risk reward in those situations. What are the coordinate, coach? I'm letting, that's completely fine. We close the pending order, looking at the next place to enter pending order here. As if you look at this level here, it's a dynamic resistance. The market has broken above. Now we are looking at if the market reject from that level, we need a one directional trend, like not like this, that as impulse and then not going anywhere, right? So what we need here is in one directional trend. So that means the market move in one direction and then moving in that direction here. So looking at from that perspective here, that you can see, if you look at the 15 minutes, pretty long week candlestick pattern formation, and going to feel that long week is less likely now because it's a big long week, cross quite a few liquidity zone. Not impossible. I'm looking at multiple time frame, multiple times to see the potential direction, and this is a range. Current 1 hour high is here, and series of higher low from here. There's something happening. You can see that there's a one strong breakout and then support. Okay, the market respected that support many times. There has been another breakout. So there are two levels that the trend is following up. And with the two levels of trend, the market structure may, so it left this fair value gap here. Market is almost to this support, and it's a very interesting rejection from the high. So breaking that support, we are not having that pending order yet on, and that key level of support is important from the 1 hour. That you can see the price has just tested that low. From 30 minutes as well, it's a big doji, and there might be a complete rejection back below here. Okay, so with this long wick doji on the 30 minutes, if this one is closing as a long wick, the next one could potentially try to break that support, though we see there is a series of higher low. Depending on how this one is closing, it might close back below here, and bearish price action in that area. So if you look at 30 minutes candle closing, potentially as a bearish price action here, and that might take that market to break that support. So to see that if the market is breaking this support here to create a new lower low, because there is a bigger fair value gap, and if the market penetrate that back below, we might see complete rejection of this price down below, and so there is a break below here in that area, so which is there is a significantly stronger bearish fair value gap that potentially to come back and fill. So looking at here in that area, looking at the market structure to show up, and this is very choppy at the moment, that you can see the market on this lower time frame and showing up significantly choppy. In that choppy market, the best way is to wait for the market structure to break that pattern, and then we can look at entry. So this is where we might be able to see potential downtrend continuation back below, because of the long-term bearish market structure that you can see in that area. And there's a potential break of support, and there's a, if you look at here, it's a significantly bigger fair value gap. Breaking that low could bring the price back below here to this 1 hour support. And okay, so there's a rejection that you can see from this higher price, and that rejection, if you look at a complete break of support, there is a bearish fair value gap as we discussed, and that looking to see that it's entirely coming back below. There's a void here. It is possible for this market entirely drop down back below here to this support. With a long bearish engulfer here in this market. So this is a very long week candlestick pattern, and looking at this market to break further low here, and we'll be looking at entry on a breakup structure on this downtrend. So I'm looking at possibly an entry on a breakup structure that you can see it's on a trend at the moment, and potentially bearish trend continuation. Looking at below 4060 level. It's very interesting here. And this bearish trend continuation is still. This 5 minutes candle struggling to break that low, but if this one is successfully breaking that low, we are looking at the market to come back well below here. So that's a very strong breakdown. We might see that potential trend continuation well below here to this support level. and a couple of smaller candlestick pattern here. Showing a further downside move. This market is now overextended back below and could see that potentially bearish move from the 1 hour. It's a long bearish engulfer that might be bringing that market well below here in this support level. Alright guys, so look at now this is if we look at the 1 hour price action and the 4 hour. So if you look at that, what there is a sideways market 1 hour candlestick pattern that you can see currently. After breaking all of this high, it entirely got the rejection as we looked at the lower time frame. So the market may now for at least short period of time to remain bearish to this daily low, bringing back to the daily low. And as we discussed in the beginning that the market today is potentially to be bearish, so we see some downside. Now to get an entry from an important area of value, that's what we're looking at for a breakout structure and then to give us a selling opportunity in that market. So it's a bearish market structure, and we might see further downward pressure here. So with that being said, as we see the downtrend, we will be waiting for an entry on a breakup structure. We do open quite a few trades, but depending on the market structure, of course. So if you guys are enjoying the live session, make sure you like this stream. And also, I'm coming on live every single day, twice in London and NY session, to trade the market. Now here is, you see, this is the breakup structure. The market is still remaining bearish, looking to see further downside. In the meantime, we are almost nearing to the end of this session, but not end of the NY session trading. I will still be trading throughout the session, and in the meantime, if you are in the premium group, you can keep eye for any update that coming up. And if you're not, guys, make sure you also check out all the links in the description for more updated education as well as analysis that I'm posting every day. That being said, thank you for joining, and I'll see you again very soon in another live coming up shortly in next London session. Until that, stay well, stay happy.